Hello and welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be checking out what I consider to be a bit of a modern classic pedal, and what is a staple on a lot of pro players' boards, that being the MXR carbon copy analog delay. So I'm sure this is a pedal that you will have come across before, so I'll try and keep this one a bit briefer and just give you a quick run through of how the pedal works and what it sounds like. Today I'm playing my Fender 60s Custom Telecaster into my Vox AC15, via the carbon copy of course. So with the pedal off, my dry signal sounds like this. So, now with the pedal on, we have 3 control knobs as well as a dip switch for modulation, which I'll get into in a bit. The mix control, as you'd expect, just controls the level of the effect. So with the mix all the way up, it sounds something like this. And if I back it off down to say 9 o'clock, it sounds a bit like this. So fairly straightforward, just controls the level of the repeats. For the sake of the rest of this video, I'm going to leave that fully maxed out so you can hear what's going on. So the regen knob controls the number of repeats. So if I turn this right down to basic 0, you get just 1 flat repeat. Turning it up then increases the number of repeats you get. Turning it up to about 12 o'clock, you get something that sounds more like this. And then turning it up to about 3 o'clock gets you even more repeats. As you can hear, it does start to reach a point as well where it starts to feed back. So if I completely max this out and then play a chord, you'll start to get a bit of feedback, which does get out of hand pretty quickly, as you'll hear. And that starts to clip quite quickly. Probably usable for something, especially if you're going for sort of harsher sounds, but I don't think anyone's going to be using it as a regular delay with the regen that high. So now I'm going to leave the regen at 12 o'clock and we're going to move on to the delay knob. So the delay knob controls the length of delay. So starting with it low just above 0, it's a very fast repeat. So that almost sounds like a very, very short reverb rather than a delay with multiple repeats. Moving it up a bit to about 9 o'clock, and it sounds a bit more like this. Moving it up to 12 o'clock, and it gets longer. And then moving it past 12 o'clock, you get into really long territories, which I've been finding is really good for darker sort of sounds and slower things, especially once you get into the modulation, which we'll get into in a second. But with the delay at 3 o'clock, it sounds like this. So as I said just a second ago, I find that these longer delays work really well with the modulation, which is a nice transition onto the modulation switch. So what this does is add a slight detune or a chorusing effect to the repeats. There are 2 controls in the back cavity with the 9-volt battery which control the modulation effect. So you have a depth control and a rate control. Now I've got the depth as high as it will go and the rate fairly slow. So I'll play something similar to what I just played, but with the modulation now clicked in. So there you go, it adds a adds a bit of something to it and gives it a bit of movement, especially on those long delays. I really enjoy that. Now I think it goes without saying that this is a great pedal. I mean, like I said at the start of the video, it's a bit of a modern classic and it's a staple on so many pro players' boards. It really is the go-to for the Analogue delay, so I don't really think I need to give you much more of an opinion than that on it. But there you go, so that's a brief look at the carbon copy Analogue delay. Let me know in the comments whether you have one of these or whether you have a different delay that's your go-to. And as always, thank you for watching and I'll see you next time.